And I mean, this video, out of nowhere, it just took off like a rocket ship. It just started getting views. And it wasn't a coincidence either. See, Eric didn't even realize it at the time. But the reason for this spontaneous success was because he had just accidentally invented a new format on YouTube called
social hacking was kind of my idea. So I would like scour every single day what's going on in mainstream media, and I would try to think of like video ideas I could.
I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause it for a moment. Because there's story time here. So, what we've learned so far is Airrack started with his own video production company. He was shooting a lot of weddings. Specifically, it was a wedding video production company. And second, he invented social hacking, which is where he'll explain it in the next few seconds here on the video, but it's where you look at like Google trending topics, whatever people are talking about on social media, you then find a way to create a piece of content around that specific topic and get it out there, create it and post it in real time so that you are also on, the trend of like, I know you guys probably know this, but the reason why this video hit so hard for me and why I look up to Airrack so much is because my origin story, if you will, is somewhat similar, right? Like, no one's story is the same, but I also started, before I was working with Gary, I was running my own music video production company. It was in Seattle, and then I moved from Seattle, and I went to LA, and it, like, wasn't really the same, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do next, so I'm going to keep doing this, but it wasn't really making me the happiest, and so, like, it was fun, and it was great, and it was supporting me, but I wasn't, like, happy with it, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't having fun doing it. And then I connected with Tyler Walsh, shout out T. Walsh, over TikTok, and he told me to apply to 137 p.m. And that is when I got hired by 137. I had honestly shrugged off applying to 137 for, like, a couple weeks. So I was like, I'm not really, like, money-wise, like, I was chilling. I was like, I'm supporting myself off of this video production stuff. I don't need a job. I don't need a 9 to 5. But then I looked into 137 p.m., found the association with Card Talk, which was a podcast I was already listening to. And then, of course, once I had found the association with Card Talk, then found the association with Gary, and that Gary was an owner of 137 p.m. Now, rewind a couple months, about 6 months, before I had actually applied, like, connected with T. Walsh and applied to 137 to be a part of the team, I had graduated college. And I walked across the stage, and I got my degree, and I sat back down in my chair that was 6 feet apart from everyone else because it was COVID, and we couldn't be within 6 feet of each other. And I looked at the degree, and I said to myself, at that point, like, I was knee-deep in my own video production business, and I was like, the only way I am ever working for another human being other than myself is if it's one of these three people: Cole Bennett, Scooter Braun, or Gary Vaynerchuk. Fast forward 6 months, connect with T. Walsh. I find out that 137 p.m. is Gary's media company, and I'm like, holy shit, like, this could be, like, a way in to get closer to Gary, to learn from Gary. And you guys know how it played out from there, but the way that I joined the 137 team, became an associate producer for Card Talk, was running their TikTok and things of that nature. And then the National came around. And this was before VFriends had, like, a corporate booth, like a legitimate booth. This was when Gary only had one booth at the National. It was the Edison booth. It was where Card Talk had half of it, and Gary had the other half. And he had turned his half into VFriends, right? And, like, this is when he did, like, he lost his voice, that National, and there was that sign that was like Gary singing from 4 to 6 p.m., but it really meant signing. That's a niche reference, but anyways, at that National, it's a 5-day card show, and the day before the show, we all fly into town to Atlantic City, and Gary wants us all to go to dinner. So we go to dinner, and when we're at dinner, Gary, after we order, he's like, okay, we're all going to go around the table, and we're all going to say one goal that we want to accomplish by the end of this card show. And so we go around the table, go around the horn, and it gets to me, and I, with a straight face, just bit my idea to Gary. And I'll tell you what the idea is in a second. But the reason I'm bringing this story up is because my idea has everything to do with social hacking, this concept that Airrack had come up with. And it was actually a different YouTuber whose name is Ryan Trahan. He, at the time, was doing a 30-day series on YouTube, a daily series, where he traveled across America on a penny. He started with a penny, and anything and everything he had to buy or use to get across the country, so flights, buses, whatever, it all had to stem from the original penny. And I found that series on like day 9 or so of the series on Ryan's channel, and I was like immediately hooked. Like, it became a part of my daily routine watching his videos. And so now I fast forward to the National, and I'm like thinking of what content I'm going to shoot for Card Talk in 137 at the National, and I was like, well, how can I take this series that I'm like fascinated by with Ryan Trahan and like turn it into something that relates to trading cards? And so I was trying to social hack this penny challenge, and that's exactly what happened. I started with a penny. I decided I was going to start with a penny at the card show, and for the 5 days that the card show was happening, I was going to make as many trades as I possibly could with that penny. So like, I would trade it for like a $1 card or something like that, and then take that $1 card, sell it for $2, buy another card with $2, try to buy, you know, something that's worth like a little bit more, like try to find deals in dollar boxes and things like that, and work my way up. And so it comes to me at the table to say what my goal is, and I tell Gary this with a straight face. I'm sitting across from him at the table, and I'm like, I want to turn a penny into a trading card of X amount of value by the end of this show. And he was a little confused. He was like, what? Like, what do you mean? And so I explained a little more and referenced the series and everything, and then he was like, well, do you have a strategy? Like, or are you just winging it? So I tell him my strategy, and he's like, okay, what dollar amount would you need to get to in order to feel like you accomplished the goal? Like, what's the concrete dollar amount? And I was like, if I can turn a penny into a $100 trading card, I would be blown away. Like, I would be blown away that it like really happened. And so he's like, all right, like when you reach your goal, like come show me what you got. And I was like, okay, absolutely. And so card show starts the next day, bright and early, and a few hours into the show, I started off making trades like right when the show started, at least once the booth was like settled and everything. But show starts, a few hours later, I come back to the booth, and Gary's like sorting his cards in his case and whatever, and I'm like, hey Gary, like can I show you what card I'm at? And he's like, yeah, definitely. And so I pull out this purple F1 like numbered card graded by CGC, and he sees it and he's like, what? And I was like, here, hold it. And he was like, this is a legit card. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what's the eBay comps on it? And I was like, the last one sold for $110. My goal was to hit $100 in 5 days of trading, and I hit it like within the first 3 to 4 hours of the show. And so he was like, well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do now? Are you gonna stop, or are you gonna keep going? I was like, I'm gonna see where the trades take me, you know, it might get crazy. And so I ended up trading up to, if you've seen the videos, it's on at Sports Cards on TikTok. I should really repost those on my socials too, but at Sports Cards on TikTok, you can watch the whole series where I traded up to a $300 Justin Bieber Drake rookie card. I actually have it right here in front of me. This card right here. This card right here. A Justin Bieber Drake rookie card. At the time, it was worth $300. It's not worth $300 now, but there's a penny on. It's not the actual penny, obviously, because I had to trade that penny away in order to get that card, but yeah, that is a little bit of that. What up, Thought Wrong? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome in, my friend. We're telling stories, we're eating pizza, watching Airrack's YouTube videos, having a good old time. Back to the video.
these concepts.
From here, things started to pick up. The new format's success was spreading to his other videos. They started getting views. His subscribers began to go up. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a second. This guy's a fucking YouTuber. Eric was the first guy that I had ever known that had actually gotten one.
What's an Airrack? Airrack is a YouTuber. He just sent me a big package. He's the guy I was trying to flip a pizza with. And I did flip a pizza with. But he just sent me a big package of a bunch of merch. And so I wanted to come on stream and unbox it. So we unboxed it. And yeah, some collector has that stowed. The penny is worth a whole lot now. That's funny. Yeah, funny enough, the person who I traded with first, who I made the first trade with, like for the actual penny, is at 1 cent sports cards. Literally, like, that's why they made the trade for the video, was because it was like just $1 card or $2 card that they gave me, but they took the penny for it because they were like, that's our brand name, is 1 cent sports cards. And so it was just like so ironic and so crazy that like we had bumped into them and we explained the idea and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But long story short, that wasn't the only penny challenge that I did at the National. That was like the first of a couple different videos I did. I went on and went to the Burbank card show, and I did another penny challenge there where I traded up to a Charizard, which I don't think I have right in front of me, but it is in my collection in a bag down there. I'm just not going to dig it out. But yeah, I traded up to a Charizard, so I did that like for the hook, like from a penny to a Charizard. It's like a PSA 5 or something. And yeah, definitely meant to be Black Label. What was so cool about the Burbank card show, like it was probably the second, I think it's only a 2-day show. It was the second day of the show. It was before the card show had gotten like super, super big. Like now Burbank is a behemoth of a shop and a show. It's like the National for the West Coast almost. But before it got super big, it was just like in this ballroom. And I had gone outside briefly to just like take a breather, to, you know, like hang out, get some fresh air. And I'm sitting there, and this group of kids comes up to me, and they're like, hey, like, aren't you the girl that did the penny challenge, like the penny trade up challenge? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like talking with them, and they were like, we saw your videos and we didn't think it was real. Like, we thought you faked that video. This is actually a story I've never told, really. But the kids were like, we thought you faked that video, so we decided to give it a try for ourselves. And we started with a penny at the beginning of the Burbank card show, and this is what we're at now. And they had traded up to like $150 in trading cards. And they were like, we doubted you, like we thought you were faking it, but then we tried it and it really worked. And I was like, yo, that's so sick. That is so freaking sick that like I inspired, like a video I made inspired other people to try things, and they're like seeing success doing it. Like that was the coolest thing ever. And so I blessed them with like a $50 Giannis card. I was like, I don't even want anything in return, like keep it for your challenge. But I gave him a $50 Giannis card. I was kind of bitter about it afterwards, to be honest, because I should have given them like a Ja Morant card in my collection. You know, like wasn't Giannis. I had gotten the Giannis card for Christmas too, so I was a little bitter about it, but I was like, yeah, it's okay. For the kiddos it works.